Leviticus 15:25-26. And if a woman have an issue of her blood many days out of the time of her separation, or if it run beyond the time of her separation.
Okay, well, you're talking about, sister, what you're talking about here is speaking of when a woman is in her issue or unclean. Okay, that is a good question, because I've seen in other areas where, especially under Israelites, that I see that women weren't allowed to come to class if they were on their issue. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, that's utterly ridiculous. I'm going to tell you why. Because there is no more temple. That's number one. Number two, under those same laws of uncleanliness, if the woman is unclean, then everyone in the house is unclean. So how can the brother get up and go to class? And he have a wife that's unclean in his house. And if you are in the house with the woman, you are unclean according to the Levitical law, 7 days too. Also, according to that law, if the woman sleeps on anything in the house, or sit on anything in the house, or use a cup, or use anything to cook with, it all must be thrown out of their house because she's unclean. That means if you touch a glass, you got to buy some new glass sets. If she sleep on a bed, you got to throw out the mattress. If you sit on a chair, you got to throw out the chair. So people have to be careful when they're trying to invoke certain laws as Pharisees and scribes without understanding the grace of Christ. And when you look at it, to some degree, from a world standpoint, we're all unclean. When you go into a store that's selling women products for their uncleanness, who you think went in there to buy that? An unclean woman. So if you go in there too, by process of elimination, if you touch anything she touched, you're unclean too. So physically, we're all unclean. That's why Christ gave us baptism. Okay, suppose something go down where there's an emergency and the church is together and the woman is home because she's unclean, and people got to go and do something or leave and do what? Should she be penalized because she's unclean? Now, normally women that are under their sickness, monthly sickness, usually don't want to be bothered too much anyway and stay to herself. But that's a choice. It shouldn't be, she shouldn't be penalized under the new covenant for an old covenant law that was concerned, that was a concern with the temple. Okay? The temple was rented too. So there's no temple that you're going to go into where everyone in the church is clean. Now, the same issuing of the law, when it comes to the law of issue, okay? If someone have a sore, a Band-Aid on their sore, and it's still blood coming out of an issue, and even though the pants are covered, you know that person is unclean too. So how many people go into the temple or your churches with scratches, with Band-Aids on? So this shouldn't only apply to a woman's sickness. If you're going to deal with the issue of uncleanliness, you have to add all that in it too. None of us should be excluded there. If there's an issue coming out of us, if you got a cold or mucus or something, you're unclean according to the Old Testament. You can't come to the temple. You can't come to church. So no, we don't implement that amongst our church. Okay? We understand that a woman can exercise grace and get prayer and be amongst the body during that time, if she so chooses. She doesn't make anyone unclean because of it. Okay?